All right, YouTube, what's going on? So today, I'm back with another video for you guys. And as you see here, we have this whiteboard, right? And on this whiteboard, I wrote a couple of things down, talking pretty much about how I think your evening, how you spend your evenings, shape your future, right? And this was something that I was thinking about because, to make it personal, like I've been studying for my CPA exam, right? So if anybody's watching this, you don't know what that is. Certified Public Accountant. I'm trying to get my CPA license and whatnot. And I've been having to study a lot, mainly in the evening, sometimes in the morning, but most of the times after work, right? So, it's pretty challenging to be consistent studying, especially in the evening after work because you're tired and whatnot. And I was just sort of thinking about how, like, as tough as it is to do those types of things, like studying in the evening, those are the types of things that allow you to move ahead in life. Because if you only go to work and you never do anything besides work or like anything extra, then how are you going to really like advance or push your career forward, right? So that's what made me initially think of this topic. It's like, yo, how you spend your evenings almost determines your future. Now, I'm not saying that you have to like study or like do some try hard activity every single day. That's not what I'm saying. But I think in general, especially for young people, like young men in general, like the way you spend your free time pretty much heavily affects your future at this point in our lives. Because like I feel like right now, most of our time working is just like at a regular job, right? Like, so let's assume you work at like a restaurant or something. So you might work 40 hours a week at the restaurant. But if you don't ever like take the time outside of work to like study or learn or advance your career or even just work out, fitness, like anything beneficial to you in the long run, then like you're gonna stay the same off. Like you're gonna remain stagnant. So I want to go through like pretty much the first point about how time wasted on unproductive activity over time adds up. The second point is how this affects you over time. And the third point, or I guess topic, is the solution to this problem. Because I don't think it's really that necessarily like hard to adjust your evening routine. I think just recognizing the fact that the evening, like let's just say from 5 to 10, 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, those like 4 hours that you have and then at nighttime, that's like your only real free time every day. Like you only have so much free time as a human, right? So if you don't take advantage of your free time, then you're gonna like stay behind, right? Excuse me. So the first point, pretty much like I was just talking about, time wasted on unproductive activities over time adds up. So let's say you're somebody, you come home from work and you hop on TikTok immediately, right? As soon as you walk back in the house, or Instagram Reels, or whatever your preference of short form content is, you hop on there immediately and you start scrolling, or like just social media in general, not even just short form content, just like Twitter, Reddit. You can be on any type of social media, but you spend hours and hours scrolling. I'm not gonna act like I don't scroll. I do use social media, but I try to be more cognizant of how much I use it and try not to like spend hours at a time on that shit, bro. That's how you can lose so much time in the evening just being on like Instagram Reels or something like that. It's so easy to get distracted, bro. So I think that's why I put that as like the number one point, I guess, in this whole picture. Most of the time when we're like, we come home from work or whatever we're doing, we just want to relax and like entertain ourselves. So we might watch YouTube, you might watch Netflix, TV or something like that, or play the game. But generally those activities are unproductive. Playing the game, social media, movies, most of the time, now sure you can get some educational knowledge from it, but most of the time it's not going to help you like in your career, with your money, if your life in general. It just sort of, it's like a pacifier almost. And I think I watched a video by a channel that I like a lot called Analyzing Finance with Nick. You should check his channel out. But he pretty much talked about how like video games are like the pacifier for low income men. And it sort of makes sense because I would say if somebody like, as I graduated from college, as I like started working more, I don't play the game as nearly as much as I did when I was a kid. Like I barely play. I might play the game like once or twice a week now. And that's like for like 30 minutes or something like that. So I think it sort of is a correlation, I think, with income and how much you entertain yourself. Like if you don't make that much money, you're probably gonna just spend more time mindlessly entertaining yourself. But that's sort of why you're not making that much money. It's like a self-defeating cycle, if that makes sense. So try to avoid spending time on unproductive activities, I would say. I'm not saying you have to be like a monk and just go in nature and meditate every day, but Maybe if it's just like 1 hour a day, you just try to do something different. That could work. You know what I mean? What else did I say? Playing lots of video games. Just went over that. Again, I'm not saying, I said lots of because I want to focus on the fact I don't think that you can't play any games at all. Like, I'm not one of those people. I'm only 22, so I'm still young myself. I understand how it is. But I think if you play the game every day, all day, like for 2 hours or some shit, that's a waste of time. You got to try to do something else. I said smoking and drinking too much. If you smoke hella weed every single day and you drink, you're alcoholic, you're gonna most likely remain stagnant in life. Like, is that self-explanatory? I feel like. And then not working out, eating healthy, unhealthy. So I think like these are pretty much the main activities that we tend to engage in besides productive things: entertainment, movies, video games, that type of stuff, drugs, smoking, and then I guess not working out isn't necessarily something that you do, but it's something that you're not doing that could be productive. So being unproductive by just sitting on the couch, those types of things, that type of stuff, it adds up over time, bro. And that's my second point, actually. It leads me into my second point. So how does this affect you over time? And I guess to make it personal again, just seeing from like the perspective of like how my life is gone compared to the people that I went to high school with in terms of what they decided to do with their free time and all that type of shit. Like, bro, if you spend, I'm telling you, you might think, oh, I could play the game tonight, or I'm good, I don't have to study right now. Bro, 6 months go by quick, a year go by quick. Over time, that 30 minutes, that hour a day that you spend in doing something else, if you spend, let's say you spend 1 hour a day doing something unproductive, which most people do, but this is just for like the math argument, I guess. That's seven hours a week, 14 hours, 28 hours a month. I'm not gonna do the math, 28 times 12 over the course of a year, and that's just 1 hour a day. You're spending a lot of time doing something that's generally unproductive. And it's not like I'm saying you have to spend all of your time being productive as well, but just think about that. If you just took 1 hour a day to be productive, 28 times 12, somebody do the math. I'm not doing the math in my head, but that's a good amount of time that you can put towards something beneficial to you, besides just mindlessly entertaining yourself. So I said, because you spend all of your time being unproductive, you tend to remain stuck, which is pretty much what I just went over. Like, all these factors play into you not progressing in life. And I guess if you're watching this video, I'm gonna assume you're probably a young man as well. So we're gonna relate this strictly to like your finances and your money and all of that type of stuff. Because if you engage in these activities, bro, you're not gonna make a lot of money. Like, that's just what it comes down to. You're gonna basically stay broke. You don't see people that make a lot of money spending hella time on social media, playing hella video games, smoking and drinking hella substances, and not taking care of their body. Like, those habits are what keeps you broke, especially as a young man, bro. Second point here, lack of progression in life. Days, months, years go by without you accomplishing much. You don't want to be one of those people like you wake up, you gotta wake and bake, you smoke weed every day, you play the game, you work at McDonald's something, then you come home and that's it. Like, I don't want to do that, bro. Like, I don't want to live a life not worth living. I want to wake up in the morning and like feel proud of what I do. And like, I actually somewhat want to go to work. Even if I don't really love my job, like, I'm an accountant, so I don't really like love doing accounting. Like, it's not like yippity yay, but it gives me a purpose in life. It gives me something to do, and I get paid pretty well, bro. So like, you don't want to just be the person that never advances in life or like does anything. I feel like, so you become stuck in your ways, you lose discipline. That equals you staying broke. So you got to think about that, bro. All of these things, these habits, again, not even just the fact that doing them is bad, but they start to build up this mentality of like hopelessness almost. Like, you start to think this is just how life is. You come home from work, you spend all your time doing bullshit, playing the game or TikTok or something like that. You start to think this is just how it's supposed to be. You have to break out of that mindset. And I pretty much just hit on what the solution is, I guess. Talking about all of those things. And to like bring it all to a close, I think pretty much the solution in general, young man, I don't care who you are, just try to find something that can offer you more productivity that you still enjoy. I think to sort of side with us young people in this argument, we hear a lot that we have to be like productive, right? Like, this is not something that's new to you. I'm assuming you probably heard the whole productivity argument and like how you spend your free time, etc. But it's not really easy to figure out what you want to spend that free time doing, right? You may not even really know what you want to do for a career. You may not really even like, we're still young, right? So I feel like there's a lot that you have to figure out. so that you can avoid doing these things to begin with. Because if you don't have anything to do, like you can be like, all right, I'll come home from work and I won't get on TikTok. I won't play the game. But if you don't replace it with anything, you're gonna then be just as bored. You gonna start to kill yourself with boredom, bro. So you have to figure out what it is that you actually wouldn't mind doing that can be productive. If that makes any sense. So for me, I study some time for my CPA. I guess you could say I'm making content right now. So this is something that I can spend my free time doing that's generally more productive for me than just doing anything like this, scrolling on social media, etc. So like, you have to figure out, I guess, who you are as a person a little bit to make this easier for yourself. But just try to think about it in the whole perspective, the whole picture. Like, yo, if I spend all of my time outside of work, the free time that I have as a human in my short life, if I spend all of my free time never doing anything that's gonna like really benefit me over time, I'm gonna remain in the same position that I'm in right now. And that's literally how life works for most people, bro. So I want you guys to think about that. Let me know in the comments, how do you spend your evenings? I'm not saying, again, listen, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're young, so we probably have similar characteristics in terms of like what we like to do, you know, video games, TikTok, social media. So y'all let me know in the comment section below what you think about this. Let me know if you like the whiteboard setup. You know, this is a new type of setup for this video, new mic and all of that. So let me know what y'all think. And yeah, as always, it's been your boy Brandon Davis. I'm out.